Madam President, I rise today to speak against the Toomey Amendment that would impose a permanent ban on congressional initiatives for earmarks. Madam President, the Constitution grants to the Congress the power of the purse. There is no authority more vital to the separation of powers than the one that prevents the executive branch from directly spending the tax dollars collected from its citizens. Depriving the Congress of the ability to direct money to specific projects does not save money or reduce the deficit. It simply gives additional power to the president and weakens the legislative branch. Madam President, as I stated when I announced the initial moratorium on appropriations earmarks last February, I continue to support the constitutional right of members of Congress to direct investments to their states and districts under the fiscally responsible and transparent earmarking process that we have established. Madam President, Hawaii is a long way from the capital city. It is simply not possible for a bureaucrat here in Washington to understand the needs of my home state as well as I do. And I believe that such is the case with all 50 states. Each one is unique. Each one has individual challenges, and each one has issues that cannot be fully understood by civil servants located thousands of miles away. Madam President, this amendment has nothing to do with lowering the deficit. And let me state that again. Eliminating earmarks will not save a single penny in spending. It will simply take decisions that were rightfully made by Congress and delegate them to the executive branch. Madam President, in truth, this is a political amendment meant to give cover to those who seek to mislead the American people into thinking that earmarks are responsible for our current deficit, and that simply is not the case. Our deficit is driven by entitlement spending that is rising at a rate 3 times that of inflation, not by discretionary spending that is now capped at less than the rate of inflation. Our deficit is driven by the fact that revenues are at their lowest level in 50 years. A permanent ban on earmarks addresses neither of these matters. And Madam President, finally, I note that my colleagues, that the voluntary moratorium in appropriations bill for FY 2012 was 100% successful, and the committee will continue the moratorium for FY 2013. Madam President, prior to the moratorium taking effect, the Appropriations Committee had to put into place a series of reforms that ensured openness and transparency for earmark requests. Every earmark request was posted online. Every earmark that was approved was listed along with the sponsor's name in committee reports and posted online. There were no secrets and no backroom deals. The reality is that without congressional earmarks, we find ourselves at the mercy of the bureaucrats to ensure our local needs are fulfilled. If we approve this amendment, from now on, earmarks will be at the sole discretion of the executive branch. Local needs will either go unmet or will be included through deals made between our elected officials and the White House or unelected bureaucrats. No longer will we show the American people what earmarks we are funding and why. Instead, they will be part of a trade-off between members and bureaucrats a bridge in return for support of a trade agreement. By permanently banning earmarks, the spending decisions will move from the transparent process to discussions that are hidden from the public. So we face a choice between an open and transparent method for allocating targeted funding or one that will be done with phone calls, conversations, winks, and nods. One method allows for accountability and another leaves us all at the whim of unelected bureaucrats. And so, Madam President, I urge my colleagues to vote against the Toomey Amendment. This amendment will serve to deprive the Congress of essential congressional prerogatives. It has no impact on the debt and is simply designed to give political cover to those who refuse to address the core drivers of our fiscal imbalance, lack of revenues, and ever-increasing entitlement spending. I yield the floor, Madam President. Suggest the absence of a quorum.